Why, hello everyone. This is Classic Homesteading Practices. This is the last episode for this season, which means we're going to be talking about cows. So if you are one of the people who were with me on last week's episode of Introduction of Pigs, you would know that we were going to be talking about not only dairy cows today, but beef cows. And after doing all the research that I could find on how much a cow produces, which cows produce the most milk, which cows produce the most beef, mainly American breeds, the most loved breeds in America, I wanted to give you as much information as I could, and also just let you know that cows that we have in America are drastically different from what we think as the largest cattle and the largest producing in milk and beef in the world. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because when I looked at the Angus, which is our most prolific meat cow in America, it wasn't even on the top 10 list when it came to beef cow breeds. But more on that later, because first, we need to talk about infrastructure. Yes, for anybody who is new, I'm going to let you know in this first season, I talk always first about infrastructure or making a place for your animal, because I believe that you should always have a place first for your animal and all the supplies in it before you actually get the animal. So you're never scrambling around or having a hard time finding what you need for your animal. Everything is just there so you can immediately put the animal in the paddock, the pen, the coop, and it's taken care of from there on, and you have no stress to deal with later. So, a barn, a shed, a carport with planks should have at least 20 to 30 square feet for your cattle. And this is for a cow weighing about 1,000 to 1,300 pounds. And the reason why I did a dramatic pause is because that was a lot less space than I was thinking. When I looked this up for the first time, I was thinking it was going to be at least 50 square feet, because that is what we did and what I've seen for other cows. But it is only a measly 20 to 30 square feet for a cow pen. And this is per cow. But the thing is, this is for cows that have a grazing area. Now, usually for a cow, when it comes to a large cow, it is going to be about an acre per cow. And on the small or miniature side, it is going to be a quarter acre. So, depending on what you get is what you're going to be feeding your animal. But if you do not have a place for your cow to graze, you're going to need to give them at least 35 to 50 square feet per cow. And that is what I usually see for cows up in the north, because in the cold, you need to give them an exercise area or a place where that they can just go around and do their thing, because there's nothing on the ground except snow in the middle of winter. So, remember, when you decide to have a cow, again, whether it is large or small, give them at least 20 to 30 square feet. If they have an area where they can graze year-round or mostly year-round, and if not, if you know that your winter is going to be 6 months out of the year like the north, give them about 35 to 50 square feet so they can stretch those cloven hooves. All right. Now, I personally suggest having a metal paddock, so something that has been welded together, piping down in the ground, welded on cattle panels, or something of that mesh, or a fenced-in area chain link fencing, something that is very sturdy and supportive. And the reason why I say this is because cows love to scratch themselves on the fencing. It is there for them, not more of a barrier, but as a literal scratching post. If you aren't able to do that, doing a nice sturdy wood fencing is very okay, or even just having a electrical area for them to just understand where their boundaries are. And once they figure that out, usually they are good. I understand a lot of people do not enjoy doing electrical fencing, and this is why I definitely go with a heavy wood, but personally am recommended, if able to, doing a metal frame. All right. Now that we understand the allotted amount and how big the animal is going to be, whether small or large, we know where they're going to be staying at. Either, again, in a barn, a shed, or at least garage or carport with a place where they can get out of the wind and stay out of the cold. Again, if you're going to be in the winter most of the time and it's a very cold place without heat, give them a blanket. Also give them a nice heavily strawed or bedded place where they can lay down and, again, just stay out of the cold. You don't want to give them a too cold of a place. Dirt is very much recommended, or a non-concreted area, because it is absorbent and it will start smelling like excretion. And also, it is better for their hooves if they do not have a concreted area. A lot of places enjoy doing concrete just because it's easier to clean off, but in an actual dairy environment, they do sand or dirt because it is better for the animal, it is healthier for the animal, and it helps them when it comes to being comfortable. And a healthy cow produces more milk. This has actually been scientifically proven. So, for people who wish to be cow owners, I heavily suggest doing a dirt, or if you want to get fancy, a sand area with straw over it or some sort of bedding to stay nice and warm. Now that we have the bedding accommodations, the housing accommodations taken care of, what do you need to feed and water your animal with? Well, just make sure that they have a trough where they can have grain and hay at. Again, grain is going to be more of a treat for them because they are ruminant animals. They have 4 stomachs and they usually chew on their cud, which is made out of grass. A nice brome or Timothy hay will do them just fine. But if you do not have that, I know that teff and alfalfa is also a favorite. And hopefully alfalfa is a lot more inexpensive where you are, because up here in the north, it is $50 for 100 pounds. And that is extremely pricey in my book. But that is besides the point, and I will keep my salty opinions to myself for the most part. Now, grass is wonderful. Giving them grain as a treat is nice. You can also supplement with table scraps of vegetables and fruit. Just make sure that you know what they can and cannot have, because there are some things, like with all animals, that are poisonous to them. Though not many, from what I have understood. We do not give our cows, that I know of, tomatoes or any kind of lentils, which is very strange to me because I've heard a lot of people who give their cows beans, but they must be cooked, because uncooked beans for cows and people are very toxic and can make them poop a lot. For the rest of food, Again, treats are preferable. You can actually find molasses treats at your local warehouse or feed store. You can also find that a lot of dried fruits are nice snacks for your animals, but mainly they're going to be ruminants or chewing grass and other things that they're going to find in the field. Regular water troughs are just fine for them. They don't need anything fancy. Just make sure in the wintertime that they have a water heater because no animal likes to chew on ice. All right, now that we have our food, water, snacks, and housing taken care of, let's talk about the main event. What are the breeds? Lady, get to talking about the breeds. All right, because there are many to choose from, I've decided to do a top 3 picks plus a special unique animal. And the reason why is because there's literally over 30 different breeds of dairy cow and then 50 breeds of beef cow. It is insane, the variant and also the mixing of breeds in order to get a certain kind of cow which people enjoy and love. So, I'm going to be talking about the heaviest producers of dairy and beef, the medium producers, and smaller, and then the smallest, which I am very excited for because they are going to be my specialty breeds, which I love very much. All right, let's get started. Lady, get into the breeds. So our first one, which we are going to be starting off with dairy, is the Holstein. These are the most characterized for dairy cows. You see them a lot on branding when it comes to your stores, milk, and that is the black and white cow. These are a favorite when it comes to dairies, and most, if not all, dairies carry them in America as their producer. And the reason being is because of how hefty their milk production is per year, which is 32,740 on average kilograms a year. And in Imperial, that is 60,000 plus pounds of milk a year. 60 plus thousand pounds per year. That is enough for at least 5 families eating 50 pounds a week, if not more. It's insane. All right. Anyway, not that I'm gushing or anything. Holsteins are the largest cow when it comes to dairy production. They are and can always be around the weight of 1,500 pounds. And this is for the heifers. They are approximately 58 inches on average. And when they are approximately 15 months old is when they can be bred, which is about 800 pounds. It is a big girl. Holy smokes. And at the largest calf for dairy cows, they weigh 90 pounds at birth. Again, big babies, big mamas, lots and lots of milk. And that, again, is the Holstein. Now, our mid-tier is going to be the brown Swiss. She is a decent-sized girl. She is a brown girl, weighing in approximately at 590 to 640 kilograms, or at their highest weight, 1,200 plus pounds. So again, another very big girl. Their most prominent and interesting feature is the top bump on their head. They are a very noticeable breed of cow because of that, and also their high jutting hip bones. Now, their milk production is pretty good as well, being at about 7,000 plus kilograms or 14,000 plus pounds of milk per year. A fun fact about them is that their gestation, or the amount of time that it takes for them to give birth, is 290 days. Now, this usually ranges for most, but it is very notable because these girls look humongous when they give birth, and then right afterwards they look like an emaciated cow, but that is actually their normal look. Their ribs will jut out, their hip bones will look like they're sticking out way too much, but that again is just their breed. So do not worry when your Guernsey looks like this, or oh my goodness, I was looking at a Guernsey when I said that, your brown Swiss looks like that. They are just fine, but it may scare you when you first see it. All right, so lastly, we're gonna go to the Guernsey. Now, Guernseys are a tan cow. They are a much smaller cow, ranging from 450 to 500 kilograms, which means they're about 1,000 to 1,100 pounds at their largest. They are in the same area, but a little bit less when it comes to milk production than the brown Swiss, in being about 7,000 kilograms, a little bit less, or around 1,300 to 1,400 pounds in standard American when it comes to milk. Now, the very fun thing about Guernseys is that they are a lot shorter. They are less than 5 feet tall at the hip, usually averaging 56 inches or 140 centimeters. They are a very docile and sweet cow, and a lot of people love them because, again, of their size and also their high fat content milk. They are great for making butter, they are great for making cheese, and it is a very creamy and delicious milk. Again, with their temperament, makes a perfect homesteading cow. And I do personally love Guernseys because, again, they are getting to that smaller cow breed. Which leads us to our last one, being the Jersey, or the miniature Jersey. Now, miniature Jerseys are different because of one big thing. They are the tiniest cow, the cutest cow, and they range in usually 2 different color patterns. Usually you will see them as a beautiful light brown or a red russet color. They have a distinct white around the eyes, omelet eye shape, and a white muzzle. They are considerably less when it comes to size. They usually range from 880 to 1,100 pounds at the most, and they usually give around 900 gallons, so 1,200 pounds of milk. No, that's not correct. I did my math completely wrong. One moment, please. Ha! I knew I did it wrong. 7,200 pounds per year. Okay. Way better than I was thinking. Still a lot less than the Guernsey or even a traditional sized Jersey cow, which will do roughly 14 to 2,000 pounds plus a year. But then again, the Jersey is a notably smaller cow. Now, a full-size Jersey gives off about 6,000 pounds. And I was giving you the mid-tier Jersey, my bad. So there are 3 tiers of Jersey. You have a miniature, a medium, and a full size. And the full size gives around 7,000 to 6,000 pounds. You have the mid-size, which gives about 4,000 to 2,000 pounds. And then the smallest, which gives you around 1,200. I did it again. I did it again, folks. Why is my math doing so wrong for you? It's usually 7,200 pounds for a miniature, and then 8,000 pounds for a medium, and then going up to 10,000 pounds to 12,000 pounds for a regular size Jersey. Oh my Lord. Give me the strength to give the right information to these people. All right. Now that I have completely, hopefully made you laugh, and probably utterly confused the crud out of you, let's go over to the meat boys, or the beef cows. Now again, I wanted to give you the largest, because there are some people who really value meat or really want to get into meat, so I'm going to give you the largest one, which is a Gargantuan Beef Cow. They are called, and forgive me, I'm going to mess up this word, Chianina. And they hold the Guinness World Record for being the largest cow. They are an Italian breed, and they come in at a whopping 1,600 kilograms, or 32 plus 100-pound beast. 3,200 pounds of meat. That is amazing. And I will tell you why in a little while. Compared to the Angus, this thing is insanely large. The Angus is the smallest out of these breeds. I'm going to let you know, except for the specialty breed that I'm going to tell you at the end. But it is the smallest that we are going to be talking about at the end. And the reason for that is because, again, there are so many cows that the largest one is almost 6 feet tall. Again, weighing at 3,200 pounds. And it's just a beautiful cow. I'm sorry, I'm oogling this cow. The first time that I heard about this, I was amazed. And yes, if you ever decided that you wanted to have this cow, you would, one, have to import it, or find a specialty breeder in the United States, which there must be somebody who has this beautiful cow, but it will probably cost you an arm and a leg to have it, because again, this is a specialty breed. It is the largest breed. It holds the Guinness World Record for being the beefiest cow. And you know what? I understand why, because again, there's no cow except this one that compares to it by being, again, almost 6 feet. It is 5'11" tall at the highest, the tallest cow. And then again, 3,200 plus in weight. The second largest, which is the Belgian Blue, does not come in comparison to it. At 1,250 kilograms, think about that, 1,250 kilograms compared to the stout 1,600 kilograms. That is the largest difference in 1 and 2 largest beef cows. So, going from 3,200 pounds down to the Belgian Blue, which is 2,500 pounds. I'm doing mental math, my apologies. You are getting a considerably large difference when it comes to meat put out. But I would like to show those two just to give you the difference the largest breed of cow in the world has. And it's amazing. Alright, now that I've shown you the difference between 1 and 2, I am going to go to our mid-tier, which is the Men Ennui. It is a French cow. It is 1,400 kilograms at the largest bull, but usually averages around 1,200. So again, 2,400 pounds of beef. But the reason why I decided to give this as the mid-tier is because of a beef milk combo. The French use these as both beef and milk for the longest amount of time. The cows usually were around 1,600 pounds at their average weight, and the calves usually were around 80 to 100 pounds when they hit the floor. The other thing about them is the fast rate at which they wean their calves off, which is notable, but doesn't give me anywhere how long it usually takes. Usually full maturity for a calf is around a year and a half, so I'm guessing it is probably a year when the calf is weaned off, or a little bit less than that. But the full maturity of these, again, is 2,400 pounds or 1,400 kilograms at the largest. All right. Now, let's go all the way down to our Angus, which, again, I think is going to surprise most people because Angus is the largest breed of beef cattle we have in the States. We make such a humongous deal about it when it comes to choice beef, and again, for what we do with breeding, there is a humongous market for choice Angus beef sperm, and I'm talking thousands of dollars for one shot of it, or in a case for people, a straw of bull sperm from an Angus. But here's the thing, folks. An average weight for an Angus is 550 kilograms or 1,200 pounds. And that is the girls. Now, the nice thing is the boys beef up to 850 kilograms or 1,870 pounds. And you'd think, oh, well, that's nice. I was a little scared there for a second, but I actually gave you the cows version first on purpose, just so, we could feel a little bit better. So we knew that, the boys were actually a bit bigger. But that's still almost half of what the largest bull in the world is capable of. And that was their average. 3,200 pounds on average for the largest bull of the world. And then we have our Angus at 1,870 pounds on average. And, it's kind of disappointing after that. I will say that. I wasn't going to say that at first. I felt like it'd be very controversial. But it is a little disappointing. Especially because, in America, we pride ourselves on being the biggest and the best, and I was expecting Angus to be at least mid-tier and get past 2,000 pounds, but that's okay. The meat is delicious. It is a very choice amount of meat. We are very proud of our Angus. It is a lovely beast of burden. All right. Now that I've tried to praise up our beef cow, let me tell you a little bit more about it. So again, the weight on these guys, the bulls, are on average 850 kilograms or 1,870 pounds. They are full black. If you crossbreed them with a dairy cow, they are amazing. If you did a Holstein Angus combo, you would get a great producer of milk and a great beef cow all in one. And it is actually very common to do this when it comes to having a dual dairy beef farm. Though, usually when it comes to the States, usually you either pick a dairy or a meat farm, and usually it is Angus or Holstein. Now, these boys usually get around 5.5 feet tall at the hip, usually a little bit smaller than that. And of course, they live to be around, well, butchering weight at 18 months old. Now, it is a fairly fast butchering weight compared to others, and considering how large they get at 1,870 pounds, 18 months isn't that hard. It's a year and a half. So for the amount of time that you're waiting for and the amount of beef that you're getting for an Angus is a very fast and large choice when it comes to raising a beef cow. All right. So now that I've given you the 3 contenders for beef, I'm going to give you my favorite one, the Scottish Highlander, which I believe is literally the cutest cow. But there are other reasons why I'm giving this to you, mainly for homesteaders or small farming community. This is a small, lean cow with a lot of fur. For people up in the north, this is actually the perfect cow because they were made for the Scottish Highlands. They were made for very cold weather. And I actually know a farmer who has all Highland cattle as their cattle of choice. And every year at the state fair, there's at least one cow with her calf for people to see because, again, they are such a treat to look at. They're actually a very docile breed. Again, they are a very hardy breed. They are great for negative degree weather without having to use blankets or heating systems. And they are a fairly decent size. They are 800 kilograms on average, or 1,600 plus pounds, so just a little bit smaller than an Angus. They are very lean, which is something to keep in mind when it comes to cholesterol or fat content. So for people who are looking to be a little healthier, or in general just want something a little bit smaller, but docile and interesting and fun, getting a Scottish Highland cow is a wonderful choice. They can also be used as a milk cow, but they will only be giving you around about a gallon, well, at their least, and 3 gallons at their most when it comes to daily output. For a first-time freshener, you will be getting around 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons, but once they've done a further 2 freshenings, you will be getting about 3, maybe even 4 gallons a day from a Highland cattle. But their milk fat is going to be a little bit more on the skimpy side because, again, they are a leaner cow. They were meant for harsher weather. All right. Oh, and last but not least, giving you the height on these guys, they are about 3.5 to 4 feet tall, or for a girl, it is 3 feet to 3.5 feet, so they are a very small cow. So again, if somebody in a homestead with a little less to their name, or just, again, a smaller homestead with a 1/2 acre, maybe even 1/4 acre, this is perfect for you. This cow is perfect for you. All right. Now, we are getting to the 35-minute mark. I'm going to stop here because I've probably talked your ear off for way more than you ever wanted. But I want you to just think about this. There are 800 different breeds of cow in the world, and I have only given you 4 with the specialty breeds, each of dairy and meat cows. And I couldn't even give you the top 10 of each. Do your research. Figure out which one is best for you. See if you want a large, medium, or small version of cow. If you are a smaller homestead, I always suggest going small at first and then seeing if you need to go larger, because usually you're just feeding your household. But again, if you do want to go into a home dairy and you want to start doing dairy products and selling to people, again, there are those larger breeds. Even going crazy and getting a Holstein, you have the ability to do so. You have the understanding of the means to do so. All right. So I hope I was able to prepare you for anything. This is the Classic Homesteading Practices, and I will see you in the next season. Season 2, I will be bringing you different content that is not animal related, but something different that you will be needing for a homestead. All right. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Goodbye.